Two guys, one bench. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Two Guys, One Bench, where we have higher BMIs than baby elephants, and we're ready to talk some shit, bro.
Where we're talking more shit than Jake Paul after Conor Mcgregor's loss.
That's a lot of shit.
Yeah, can I have a Conor Mcgregor sandwich, please?
One chicken sandwich, all right? Chicken sandwich!
Hi, I'm Jake Paul. We're here at Raising Cane's, and I love all chickens. Besides Conor McGregor, he's the world's biggest chicken. Conor, you were just talking about me in the media saying if it makes money, it makes sense.
A YouTube Jake Paul beat former NBA player, sold over 1 million buys on pay-per-view.
YouTube kid. So it done good business. As they say, if it makes dollars, it makes sense.
I offered you $50 million. You're getting paid $5 to fight Dustin Poirier. I think you're a chicken.
Feeling nice.
Yo, you see that shit?
Oh yeah, he's a bitch.
Bro.
Hey, Conor. Hey, Conor. I got $10,000 for you. Cash. Cash, baby.
Cash money.
Oh, you had $50 million.
Shit talking. Rant of the week. We're about to pop some caps.
All right, we're going to kick it off right like we always do. It's time for Rants of the Week. Russ?
Well, controversy is our middle name because we don't mind talking about shit that's controversial. And today I just want to talk about people getting canceled, cancel culture, and what's happening, in media and whatnot these days. Someone can allege things about you or say something about you, and then all of a sudden you're fucking done. That's the end of your career. No one's going to listen to you. No one's going to talk to you. That's it. I mean, this is fucking a terrible thing because I don't care who you are. You could be fucking your Christian club leader or whatever. You've all done some dumb shit that actually would get you in a lot of trouble. We all have our entire life. Life's about fucking up and learning from our mistakes. So who I was 10 years ago isn't who I am now. I learned from my mistakes. So you can't come back at me from 10 years ago and say, Russ, you did this, you did that, and then I'm canceled. Fuck that shit. I am who I am today, Darrell.
The way I heard about it was Charlemagne the God explained it as a retroactive speeding ticket. You can't get in trouble now for shit that was okay in the past. So if you didn't get in shit back in the day, don't try and cancel someone now. And it's kind of ridiculous. There's certain words you can or can't say that you grew up being able to say. For example, Russ, repeat after me. What's going on, my nigga? Oh, you see how shit gets awkward all of a sudden? Because if he says that and it's taken out of context, you can easily say Russ is a racist, even though he's clearly hosting the show with me and having me on here.
Yeah, and my Japanese wife can contest that I am not racist towards Asians. But anyways, what the hell's going on? You know what? Let's just reverse this whole cancel culture and move along. Boom!
All right, now I want to talk about something that's hitting probably most of you as you're shopping online or going in store. I'm going to talk about price gouging. I think it's a little fucking ridiculous that everything's going up. I understand things may cost a little bit more because of the current state of the world, but at the same time, some companies are being ridiculous with their prices. Let me triple and quadruple the price of something. It's like, well, I know that everything didn't just jump up for you triple, so why the fuck do I have to pay for it now? People are out of jobs. A lot of people have cut hours, but hey, let's accommodate that by upping everything 300% because that seems reasonable.
Yeah, there's some companies out there that are just taking advantage of this. Maybe times when it was great before the pandemic, and then it's like, shit, we can make $1 million. We just got to increase and double our prices. So it's actually, it puts a bad name to your business in the long run and who you're all about. For example, companies that haven't done that, local business, Bells of Steel in Calgary and Strong Arm Sport. I mean, they've been pumping out equipment, making orders after order from China, getting it delivered back here. And they haven't increased their prices, maybe a little bit. I'm not sure, but I've ordered probably about, 20 grand worth of equipment through them. And it's been amazing. It's more than I can imagine for that amount of money. I can stock an entire gym. It's been great that way. Darrell?
Yeah, like you mentioned, Bells and Strong Arm, and even just local ones like Resolute, even Misfit. We're all going through a lockdown, but yet these people stay true to their morals and they aren't fucking the strength community.
Yeah, so quit gouging your prices and taking advantage of us. We're not rich, we're poor-ass lifters, and we need to spend most of our money on food because we're fat fucks. Oh!
Rant of the week. We're about to pop some caps.
All right, everyone. We just got off an amazing interview with Kiersten Zimmerman. She's a powerlifter here in Alberta, coach, transformation coach, trainer. She's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised. She's only 22 years old and has, you know, some great fucking information and conversations in this podcast. Primarily, what I took out of it was she's 22, but she seems much wiser and older in the way she talks. She's funny as fucking hell. And not only that, we delved a little bit into OnlyFans. She has an OnlyFans page and how, you know, what kind of life that is. We haven't really been able to get anybody to talk about that. And she's totally open about, how many people follow her and what she charges and what she's willing to show. Darrell, what do you feel about that?
It was just kind of refreshing that someone was open about something. Whenever there's kind of those taboo subjects, you can't really find anyone to come out and be upfront about it, but she was pretty open with everything. And that, from her training to just like the body positivity, it was a great interview overall.
Yeah, I mean, we got into it further in the episode with Jana from @HerLifting. We got a new section there as well. But we talked about, women, body shaming, body positivity, and, where the fine line is. Like, do you want to promote being unhealthy? And this is very controversial as well, but Darrell and I know it best. We were a couple of fat boys back in the day, or at least that's what society was telling us. And, we got bullied, we got through it, and we are who we are today because of it. But what I want to say is it's a good topic to talk about. And the best thing you can do is be positive with who you are, and then always be trying to be a better version of yourself and be healthier. That's all you can do. Thank you. Ding.
Special guest, trainer, powerlifter, influence, strong and beautiful, Kiersten Zimmerman.
everybody. We're super excited to have another female guest on. This sausage party has gone on way too long. We're here with Kiersten Zimmerman. She's online, killing it, and we wanted to get her perspective on a lot of things. She's done an amazing thing, transforming her body, losing over 100 pounds. She's also a power lifter, a general badass. She's from Alberta, where we kick ass and take names. Drill.
Yeah, we've been waiting to get her on for a while now. She's got a big following. She's a great story. Like Russ touched on before, she's transformed herself and her clients, and we just see her doing great things on the old Instagrams.
Hell yeah.
Hell
So,
yeah.
how you doing, by the way, up there in Edmonton?
I'm doing great. We love everything going on with COVID. Obviously not. I hate it. I hate it so much, but we're not going to talk about COVID. We can talk about everything else but COVID.
Yeah, we might go in a little bit how it's affected your business.
That's all good, honestly.
But let's start off just by, I want to talk more about your story, as in how you got into fitness. It seems, you lost a stack of weight and made an awesome transformation. Let's start there.
Okay, I'll keep it short and simple because I could literally rant on for hours about all this. So when I was around 15, I was 240 pounds. I was like 5 feet tall, super heavy. I literally would pretend I had a sprained ankle to get out of gym class. Like, I hated it. It was so bad. And I couldn't walk up the stairs without getting out of breath. I was bullied very frequently at school. I just was not living a life that I enjoyed at all. So what started my weight loss is I was babysitting these two kids. And one of these boys was like, I heat up pizza pop, and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta have a pizza pop with you guys. And he's like, are you sure you need that? Like, you're pretty big. And I was like, motherfucker, who are you to say that shit? You're like 5. And then literally the next day I was like, fuck this. Like, I'm gonna like lose weight. I'm gonna feel better. I'm not gonna be in this body. Because if a 5-year-old, because kids tell the truth, right? Like they're just, if you're big, they're going to tell you you're big, and you're just going to kind of have to take it and do what you will with it. So I was like, okay, this 5-year-old thinks I'm big. So obviously that's like the case. And I knew it wasn't healthy. It wasn't like, it was like a 5-year-old telling someone who's healthy that they're like big. So I knew that was something I needed to change, but I never really had that push to start to want to lose the weight. So that literally the next day I started, and you're going to hate me for it, but I started like a low carb diet, which was like the worst thing I could ever do. And so low carbs, I ate like nothing. And then that's like a big thing is I had binge eating disorder before I started to lose the weight. And I'm very open about eating disorders because so many women and men do struggle with it. So I dealt with that. And then my dumbass thought that getting into eating 900 calories and eating 10 carbs a day was like the smartest thing to do when you dealt with that. So then I lost a bunch of weight, did a shit ton of cardio. Within a year, I lost like my lowest weight was, I think I was 115, 120. So I was like really, really small. I was like, I still had quads on me. I don't know how that was like a thing. Like I would look at photos and I was just a stick, like a straight up stick. And so I lost all the weight in a year. And I tell people not in a healthy manner. Like I don't recommend low carb. I don't recommend like doing 2 hours of cardio a day. I learned a lot from that process. And then I wanted to get into bodybuilding, which was not the next best thing to do after you dealt with an eating disorder and losing 100 and however many pounds. And that just started like a whole different thing that I dealt with that made me, which was a good thing, made me get into weightlifting, but not powerlifting. I just started to like lift weights and not be scared of like looking bulky, like so many girls are afraid of, which is understandable because sadly society promotes that as a thing. And then I started to get into powerlifting, and I'm here today and talking to you guys. So it's been a ride. Wow.
Yeah, that's an awesome kind of transformation. I'm assuming you're a lot younger than we are. So
I'm 22.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
I could be your dad, but
Who's
your daddy? Anyways, no. No, that's awesome because sadly, kids, like you said, tell the truth. And But then you had a self-realization at a pretty young age, it sounds like. So for you to drop, 245 obviously is a lot at 5 feet, but it's not like 300. So you could have kept on going down that road.
That's the thing. Like I was actually on global news and like CTV for my weight loss journey like a few years ago. And that was what I talked about. Like I was so concerned that if I did not find a way, even though it wasn't healthy, to get healthier, that I could be like one of those people on like my 600-pound life. And I never wanted to get to that point. But like looking back at it, that the habits I had and like the unhealthy things that I would do, I definitely would be at a point where I would be so much larger, since I was only 15 when I weighed like 240. So that's why I'm like grateful that I was able to kind of get my shit together at a younger age, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing considering at a young age you had the drive to do that, because unfortunately lots of people who they are as teenagers molds who they're gonna be if they're not really getting into the gym, or not saying you have to, but if they don't really care about their health, that kind of leads into their 30s. Because I see it a lot with people, especially I went to high school with, all the people that could do everything they wanted to do. Now that they're 30, their body is paying for it. It's like, you can't eat whatever you want and not exercise and expect to have the exact same physique you did in high school. That's not how it works.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Totally get that.
So after all that, what did get you into powerlifting and competing?
Okay, so we'll rewind to the bodybuilding side of things, and I'm not bashing any bodybuilders, okay? Because like the fucking dedication they have is like a whole different level. I love food, so it's like it just wasn't vibing for me. So yeah, I just worked with like a few different bodybuilding coaches who, once again, no shade, but who didn't give a shit. Like it was just another generic client that you were gonna eat broccoli and rice, you were gonna be constipated for 10 days, like shit like that. And like I remember one time my coach was like, "Kate, you need to weigh yourself." And at this point, when I started to get into bodybuilding, I weighed about 150. So I was like still like pretty small in regards to things. And he was getting me on like 1,300 calories, knowing that I dealt with eating disorders and all those other things in the past. And he would get me, I kid you not, like I did not poop for 4 days, because like he would make me eat so much broccoli. I felt disgusting afterwards. And then at the end of the week, he would be like, "Okay, you can have a cheat meal, but you need to eat whatever you can. Like whatever you can stuff your face with, you can do." So being 240 pounds at 15, I can eat a lot of food. Like, so what I was doing is I was just like going to 4 different like fast food restaurants and trying to like get as much food, because there was no guidelines on what to do. And I thought, just eat as much as you can. And like, that's what he wants me to do. Cause he was just like, just do it. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it. And then, it started that cycle again of like me getting into like the bad mindset of binge eating, because that's exactly what that was. And he was calling it a cheat meal. And so one time I remember I checked in and I was like 152, and he was like, "You can't do that again. We need to drop weight every single week." And I felt like shit about my body. Like he made me feel so bad, and I didn't even need a reason to be, because like looking back at it, I was like, hey, like if I would have known stuff now, my base would have been fucking solid. Like I would be so good and all that stuff. So I was so frustrated with it. And then I decided that about a year and a half ago, I got into powerlifting. So I'm still like such a newbie at this stuff. But I was like, fuck this. I'm not focusing on like aesthetics. Like I want to be strong. I want to feel good in the gym. And I know that like, if you're squatting a lot, your ass is going to get big. That's just the fact. Okay. So like, I was like, I want a fat ass. So then I started just squatting a bunch and getting into the 3 lifts. Yeah. You know, cause every girl's like,
Oh, yeah.
like, "Just want a fat fucking ass." So I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I started working with a coach, and I was like, I've never been able to commit to something. I kept saying, I'm going to do figure competitions. I'm going to do it. Fucking 2018 is my year. Like so many bodybuilders do. I'm going to debut my body, and it doesn't happen ever. So like I kept saying I'm going to like push it back to this show and that show, and I could never do it. Like I never got to a spot I was comfortable. But when I saw that like there was a powerlifting meet, and I think it was like about 4 months away, I signed up and I was like dedicated to doing my first meet. And at the time, I honestly didn't care what I put up. I didn't think I was like that strong. But then I started to see I was actually like fairly strong. And I was like, oh, maybe I can do something with this. And yeah, that's how I got into powerlifting, because I gained confidence and I loved being strong and not giving a fuck about stepping on stage or anything like that. And here we are.
Nice. Yeah. I think, it's quite common in the fitness industry, and I'm glad powerlifting's kind of taken over a bit. But everybody in the gym's like, oh, do you compete? And like, it's all about like in bodybuilding, go do WBFF or some bullshit fucking get it, whatever it is. I don't know.
Don't come for us.
But what I often see, similar to you, but someone always says, I'm going to do a show. And then they don't realize how fucking hard that is and what you got to do to your body to, like, basically when you're on stage, you're on death's door and you're not healthy.
Not at all.
And so, and then I found that even people that had done that, they only did one show and they're still talking about that one show that they did 3 years ago.
It's in their bio.
Yeah.
I won 15th place.
Exactly.
But like, it's not even shading. It's just like I said, I have so much respect for those people, because as someone who tried, I fucking failed 30 times. So like it's unreal, but it's definitely, like, in my opinion, something that did not make my relationship with food or the gym any better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what's so great about powerlifting is that you can choose your weight class. You can choose, a tangible result of what you get when you finish the day and you hit a total that you want, and you feel good, and you made that certain weight class. So you can stay there. You don't have to get bigger. So it's great. Congrats on all your success there.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah, that's more than I could ever do. I had friends who competed and did, I don't even know what the classes are for guys, but like the ones in board shorts. But I'd been asked when I was around your age why I don't pursue that. I'm like, I don't give a shit what you think about me in board shorts. And at the same time, it was too subjective for me. I come from a background of just basketball. So at the end of the game, you know who won, who lost. You can be the best looking guy on the stage by far, but because your pecs are imbalanced, you lose. Like, why do I lose? Because I do more chest work than the guy beside me. So I never was dedicated enough to diet down and do all that. I kind of fell into powerlifting by accident, really.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So up until now, you said you've only competed a couple of years now in powerlifting?
Literally like a year and a half. And what's so frustrating is I qualified for IPF Worlds in Belarus for 2020, which was like, that was literally my goal. I had it on my like wall. I was like, that's like my dream goal. If I can hit it once in my life, like that'd be sick. And I was a year into powerlifting. I was like, fucking right. But then like what happened is all this COVID shit happened. And then they kept Team Canada, you get pushed back. And then they were like, and then everyone's like, yeah, it's going to get pushed to September. So you keep starting a prep and then you have to stop it because they're like, we're pushing it back. And I was so mentally drained by the fact that, you had to start preps and stop and start and stop. And yeah, so like that didn't go through. And then now you have to re-qualify again in 2021 to go to 2021 Worlds, which is, I'm sorry, my Fed's going to hate me. It's bullshit because I don't find that fair at all. Because, so just let's just say I won by fluke, and that was the only time I was going to win. I just lost my opportunity to have that experience, And so CPU, fucking get your shit together. Like, I just don't find it fair at all.
Yeah, it makes sense. We kind of dealt with it too. Like, we're in different Fed, but we just recently switched. We were in 100% raw, and when everything got announced with COVID, they immediately shut things down way too early. And by the time things opened up, there was meets that would have been running like 2 months after that, which is all we'd need to prep. But everything was already shut down for the year preemptively, and it kind of ruined everything. Right. And I know you touched on it briefly, but from your time in powerlifting, what would you say is your favorite and least favorite thing about the sport?
So honestly, okay, my favorite thing would be, well, it's like it's my favorite and my least favorite. So they're the same thing. So I think the powerlifting community in person is amazing, okay? I also think the powerlifting community online has so much potential to be a very strong community. I think there's a lot of fuckheads, and if they watch this, they're gonna know who they are, that make this powerlifting community in Alberta disgusting. Like, they create a really bad rep for our sport, and I hope they watch this. I wish I could name drop, but it's just not going to be a vibe. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like powerlifting's like the best thing ever. I wish every single like man and woman could get into powerlifting and not feel like they're being judged by someone. You know, like I wish they could fucking go and learn how to squat with the bar without Jim Bob like trying to judge them from across the gym or like judge them online. And that's like the thing is you can meet such amazing people like you two. You're in the powerlifting community. It's sick. So there's like a lot of support in the community, but I find that there's also like a lot that deters people away from wanting to try the sport because they see this petty shit online where like people are bashing back and forth and like, fuck your total, fuck your this, that, like you're not strong. Like, it's like, dude, like we're all in the sport together. Like nobody gives a fuck about your total unless you're making like fucking 100 grand off it. It's like, it makes no sense. Like we're all lifting to feel better, right? Like we all have the same goal, and to have someone, who literally what you do does not matter to them, make something you do so affected, and they're so like bothered by it. And then like Susan on Instagram sees that whole thread, right? And then they're like, well, maybe if I post my 95-pound squat that they're gonna like people are gonna come for me. Then it's like you can't get more people into the sport and get our sport more recognized. You know, so like perks is there's a lot of amazing people, and then the downfalls is there's also like a few shitty people who make the community really bad for like newbies trying to get into it. So there we go.
Yeah, we're full aware. You know, it happens everywhere, every fed, and then
For sure.
You know, I have gone to world tournaments where it's just amazing though, and everybody there it's that feeling that you want. Like we're all going against each other, but we're pushing each other.
And that's the sport. Like that's what like I wish everyone could experience, because like the people you meet at meets who like love the sport and want to become better are going to be your number one hype man. Like it's not like, can I beat you and fuck you and like I'm going to talk shit about you. It's actually like a lot of people want to see you be successful. And that's like the sad thing is I just wish everyone could see that environment of like in-person meets and like the hype, which fuck, is that even going to happen again with COVID? Like the hype and like that environment and having people like care about you even though you're a stranger to them, you know? And that's what I think the disconnect is too. It's like we're in such a day and age where social media is like so fake, and it's really, really unfortunate. And then if people just like got into it and saw like what you experienced at Worlds, that maybe that would inspire them to get started. Because honestly, if I saw like the stuff I do now on social media, I probably wouldn't get into powerlifting. Like I've taken a lot of shit, and that's what I think like a lot of people don't know is like people, there's so much that happens that like people aren't aware of, you know? Like you probably deal with shit too from people, and you're just like, it's not like you're open about it. So everyone goes through things, and just like moral of the story, just be nice to people. Like just be kind, because you don't know what they're going through.
Yeah, you know, that's actually quite funny. Not funny, but it parallels exactly what we did with our interview with Jana from at her lifting.
Yeah.
And you know what happened was, you know, she's similar to you. She almost has about 40,000 subscribers and followers. And she says, you know, you make one post, you say one wrong thing, or you just post something, and then the amount of hate that you get, and just people commenting or even just sliding in your DMs and telling you you're dumb. And I don't know if you're going through that, but she's going through a lot of that stuff, you know, and she does post kind of some things that are controversial every now and then.
Yeah, but you need to do that. And like also like I fucking love the block button. I probably have 1,000 people blocked. I'm not joking. Literally, I will get a hate comment. I'll be like, thank you for giving me attention, block. Like it's nice. And that's the shitty thing, but like I totally get different sides of like people's social media. Sometimes you do want like that controversy. Wow, I need help. God, can I read you that? What's a word we do?
Controversy.
Controversy. I swear I'm smart. Jesus. But like, you know what I mean? You know how you guys can
Believing that in. That's awesome.
That's staying in. Yeah, I understand it for some people, but like you're saying, it's unnecessary, and we get it. Like, probably Russ gets it probably less because of the fact that he was a pro fighter, so he will fuck you up if you were to see you. But at the same time, it's just, I know what you're saying because I've heard it from other people. There's some people that are just complete dicks, and what they don't realize, your total, cool, it's great at the meet. Like, my total doesn't mean anything to Russ when we're sitting here right now. It doesn't affect our daily life. And at the same time, the same people that think their total is so amazing, if you don't hold an all-time world record, your total means dick all. And another thing, of these same people that are all in on their totals, it's like, okay, cool. But if most of the NFL guys decided to powerlift, you fuckers would be average Joes. So just relax.
Literally. Like, that's the thing. Like, at the end of the day, like, your total doesn't make you a good person. It doesn't make you superior to like the fucking person next to you. You want to know what's funny is, like, you could walk down the street and no one's gonna know you have a 1,700 pound total. Like, no one will know. They'll be like, yeah, that person looks like they lift sick. Like, you could lift like 135 and look for fucking huge. Like, it's just
Yeah, I mean, Darrell has a white supremacist hater that always comments on his shit. And he just follows every story he does. He's just in love with him, but he's like,
loves my shit. All on my stories. It's like,
really?
He'll talk shit every now and then. I think it's just a deep-rooted hatred and love for a black man. But, moving along, though, we want the juicy parts here. We know that you have an OnlyFans page.
Yeah, here we go.
On. We're fascinated by all these OnlyFans things going on. We want to know what's happening there. Okay. How did that start and what's going on?
Okay, what do you want to know about it? Like, you want to know what I do and stuff like that?
Just like what I think I saw, especially last year, because before last year I had no fucking idea what an OnlyFans was. And I feel like COVID is solely responsible for making it popular. Because out of nowhere, it was just like, oh, I got an OnlyFans. I'm like, what the fuck is an OnlyFans page? Is it like a Patreon? I have no idea even what that is. And so did that cause it at all, or?
Okay, so like, actually I started before COVID was the thing. Like, I was actually like in California with my friend, and she brought up, she's like, you should start an OnlyFans. I was like, what the fuck's that shit? And then she's like, oh, like, you can post whatever you want. I was like, okay, tell me more. So then literally that night, like, I signed up. I was like, I can make bank off this. Cause like I do have a male following on top of my female following. And I actually like had some people ask me about it, but I was like, I have no clue what that is. And I don't care to like know what it is. But she's like, yeah, you can make a lot of money. So like, I signed up when we were in California. I think it was like the very end of January. So like before COVID did happen. And I signed up, got approved. I was so stupid. I started to like post stuff, and I took like the link, posted it to my Snapchat, and I got my Snapchat deleted that night. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? They're trying to make me not make money. And then I was like so confused. So then I made a new one, did the same dumb thing, took the link, posted it on my Snapchat, got it deleted. I was like, great, guys. Now I'm not gonna like make any money. And like, the biggest thing is I started that for two reasons. Like, one, the money's great. I'm not gonna flex on it because like it's COVID. Like, there's people struggling. So there's no point in me trying to be like that. But the money was one of the reasons. Number two, it was like a big thing for my confidence and to like interact with people. So I don't post like masturbation shit, like straight up. I'm just being straight up because I want that to be clear. Like, that's not my vibe. I'm all for girls who are comfortable doing that. But like, the thing I do is like, I want to 10 years down the road, if something got released, like not be upset by it. My titties are on there and that's sick. And like, we all have nipples. So like Like, I mean, if you want to see like boobs, like that's there too. So it's like, my logic is you have nipples, you could squish them together and take a photo and you could make bank for it too. Like, it's like, you've got some boobs, right?
Oh, I got some titties.
The pecs, okay,
Titties
pecs,
need to
guys,
be
like
out. We'll do a whole podcast.
We're gonna
where
do
just
only man's
tarps
page.
off.
hell yeah, you fucking do that. Be sick. You should make a OnlyFans. But like, anyways,
It would just be
Yeah.
dudes.
who gives a fuck? The gay market's huge. I'm not even joking.
Hey.
You.
Yeah.
It's huge. You're like, that's not a vibe.
You Cubs
But-
won't cave.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know. The thing is, like, it's really easy for me to interact with people on there too. And like, I run it like a business. Like, that's what it is. It's not shitty, like, quality photos. I don't take fucking iPhone photos that are grainy of like my butthole. Like, there's none of that stuff. So it's like, I like take time, I put effort in, like, they're professional photos. And yeah, I don't know. It's like a vibe for me. I feel really comfortable and confident doing it too. And I make money from it. And so like, that's why I do it now.
Is it weird if you get someone who, like, I don't know, buys or subscribes? I don't know how it works, but that someone you know
Sure, Drell.
or like don't talk
I
to,
don't know how it
like
works.
someone that you know of, but like,
Oh, I
Oh.
love it. I honestly, I'm like, thank you for spending. I charge $29 a month. Okay. So like, I'm like, thank you for spending that on me. And like, honestly, I keep my shit super private. Like, no, I'm not going to dive into that, but there have been people who like I've seen and I'm like, I know that situation, but like, I'm not bothered by it. I'm there to make money. I'm not there to like get in relationships with people on OnlyFans, you know?
Yeah.
So the thing is, I run it like a business. So if you want to have like a professional vibe and you want to like chat with me, because I don't like answer stuff. I don't answer, sorry guys, like anywhere else. So it's just like, that's like the platform. So it's not awkward. I actually am very flattered when people who know me in person or I've seen like join my stuff and I'm not creeped out by it. I'll say hi to them at the gym and be like, I know you saw my boobs. So it's like, it's all good.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And all the power to you, of course.
Thank you.
Definitely, it takes a lot of bravery to do that, but in this time, why not? And it sounds like you're keeping it classier than most girls out there. So,
Oh yeah, like literally the only thing I have to say is like, you just need to, like, obviously women can do whatever they want. I'm all for like empowering that, but I think they logically need to look at it as like, this shit can get leaked. I've had like people leak my stuff before, and that like I would never want it to be like sex tapes or like masturbation videos, because that's like not my brand. Okay. And like I think it's so important for like women, if they are contemplating doing it, really think about like what you're comfortable with, like your mom seeing, right? Like I got my boobs done, my mom's seen my boobs, they know I do OnlyFans, it's sick. Like they're supportive of it. It's just like, you need to just be comfortable, and you need to like understand there can be like, what's the word I'm looking for, guys?
controversy.
Repercussions.
Yeah, repercussions from it.
Yeah.
So that's like the biggest thing you need to like keep in mind.
Yeah, we kind of talked about the first interview with Jana about that. We talked about OnlyFans, and she said obviously where she is, they're a little more, they keep everything like that more private, but she said all the power to people who do it. But if you're going to do it, you got to think in 10, 15 years, if you're going to be embarrassed to show it, you probably shouldn't do it, which obviously, like you said, it's like, if they've seen you topless, it's like, that would be no different than a picture that probably got leaked from high school. That's what happens to a lot.
Even like honestly, our boobs are just sexualized. Men's, there's nothing different besides the fact that like we can breastfeed and we have fat in them. I have implants, but like that's like the difference to me. I'm not bothered by that, because like it's just the way that like society chooses to look at things.
Yeah.
I got a question, since you actually just brought it up,
Okay.
since you mentioned implants.
Yeah.
It seems a lot of chicks, especially ones who lift, either if it's bodybuilding or whatever they're doing, they're scared to do anything upper body wise with implants. Like, how do you work around that?
Okay, so like I got my implants when I was 18, so I wasn't in powerlifting, which is like, a good thing because I don't know if I could do it right now because of the recovery time. I know doctors, like good doctors, are going to tell you I couldn't do anything chest for a year. I also like significantly lost like all my strength. So even like now my benching still like I'm still paying for the fact that I got implants 4 years ago because I'm not even close to as strong as I potentially could be because of that. So I think like the biggest thing is just like understand the recovery time. And if like women want to get it, I think it's great for confidence. I think it makes you feel really, really good. But it's either like, and that's where aesthetics and strength come in play. Like you got to pick which one you want in a sense. Like if you feel really, really good when you're doing SBD, you're not going to probably be able to do the bench part for a year, let alone like they tell you can't even do like any chest movements. And I didn't do anything because I never really had the intention of ever training chest because I was like, what am I going to do with it until I got into powerlifting. But if you're not into powerlifting, you can slowly like incorporate things in if that's what you want. But if you are into powerlifting, I just think then it becomes like more of a mental battle with the fact that you can't do it, and you got to take the time to recover.
Yeah.
100%. We were just asking, what if in powerlifting you have implants and you have a really awesome arch, then you can kind of change the range of motion.
Okay, but here's the thing, that's the thing that people don't understand. So like my boobs go to my chin, my bar hits down here below my tits. I can't even take advantage of the fact I spent $8,500 on boobs. Like my arms are short and that's sick, but like actually benching properly with an arch, like you're usually not gonna like hit at like the highest point of your chest. So I mean, like, if your boobs you have a weird whack job where it's like really saggy for some reason, like maybe that would be like an advantage. But yeah, mine fly to my chin and I'm like tucked in there. So it's a pretty good
I
time.
got the same problem. It's okay. Well, we were just on a kind of chilling in between interviews and we were watching a few of your YouTube videos. You have an awesome channel.
Thank you.
And one of it was you were going into, OnlyFans. This is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And he did mention that, you charge $30, but you said you also have like 100+ people usually subscribing to you.
Yeah. So like I don't like flexing on things, but like I have 275 people sub to me right now.
Jeez.
So like
maybe we should start that, bro.
I don't even know 275 people.
But that's what I mean. So like the thing I've really noticed too is like I put out good quality, I interact, I care about the people subscribing. So like compared to you're spending $30, but like also that's $10 more than a Netflix subscription. And like it's also for like that one-on-one interaction where I don't just like send a generic like, hey, pay $5 for my fucking masturbation video. Like I'm not like doing that stuff. And like the thing is too, and once again, not shading anyone who charges less because like I'm all for that. But I know everyone charges $5 or $9.99, right? So like you kind of got to make yourself different in a market where we're so saturated. So I'm not bothered by having like less subscribers than some people. I know some girls that are in like my group or whatever, because we have a group for OnlyFans. Wow, party. Like they're in my group, they charge $5, they have like 400 subscribers. And like, yeah, that's sick and all, but you're not making that much because they take 20% of what you make. So that's like the other shitty thing is like you're charging $5, you're making like 3 something or like $4. So you're getting a deduction. Then you also need to pay taxes on top of that. I think a lot of people think people with OnlyFans don't pay taxes. And that's not a thing either. We have accountants. So like I remember posting something about OnlyFans on TikTok and like they're like, I'm gonna call the CRA. I was like, fucking do it. Like who cares? Like what? So yeah, I just think like have a good quality product, hold yourself to like a higher standard and be different. And I have a niche too. Like I am into fitness and powerlifting and I have a bigger butt and stuff. So like that's like a side of thing. Like guys into fitness might be more into that than a chick with butt implants, like stuff like that. So just like be a little bit different and then it goes a long way.
Nice.
That's awesome. Like it honestly reminds me of a conversation I had when I was working at Gold's as a trainer. This one guy, a tip he did, he was primarily an online coach. This was his first working in-person job.
Oh my God.
And he had no idea how to coach someone one-on-one, but he had hundreds of clients online. And he also charged a fuck ton online, but doesn't know how to train. And his advice was, he said, charge more, because people are going to look at it as a premium content. They're going to think, oh, it must be better when they see that. When something's too cheap, you look at it as cheap. It's as simple as that. Like the prime example is Grey Goose vodka. When they came out, all they did, it's the same vodka, but they put it in a like smoked bottle, and it's instantly more expensive.
More expensive, yeah. And people buy that over like Smirnoff and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
just for the name.
At parties, like all that stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, we were talking with Jana as well, and just wanted to touch on like your feelings about the whole kind of thing going on with body shaming, muscle shaming, all this
body positivity, everything in general.
And Darrell and I can kind of talk from the obese level, because if you look at our BMIs, we're a red zone. I'm like, I should be in a coffin pretty soon, because it's like at the very end. But but not only that, I mean, you've dropped 100 pounds. You're on your way to being maybe something even heavier, but you had the intuition at a young age to change that. And then, you did choose a diet that probably wasn't ideal, starvation style, but it worked. And here you are now. Yeah. So just kind of give us your thoughts from being on both sides of the spectrum. Like, what do you feel? Do you think you think that being overweight should just be accepted, or you think people should always be trying to work to be healthier?
So I think this is super controversial. See, I got it that time.
Hey, there we go.
So many people, we're in a day and age where I'm all for body positivity, self-love. Like, I fucking preach that shit in and out. So like, I think because there is so much, and men deal with it too, but especially women, because like, yeah, you guys, like most of the time someone will see like a guy who's heavier and a chick who's heavier, and they're going to troll on the chick 9 times out of 10. But there is still the chance that like guys get bothered and bullied and etc. online. And I think the biggest thing is like people need to be comfortable at every stage in their journey. So I'm not saying like you need to become complacent, because there's like a completely different thing. So being like, let's just say I was 300 pounds, 5 feet. I like gained weight from that point. I wanted to change. I gave up. I didn't want to do it. Right. Like, I think it's important to be kind of like more happy with the body you're in, because you are not going to be successful if you hate yourself every day you look in the mirror. It's just not going to fucking happen. Like, if you're like, I look in the mirror and I hate what I see, why would you try and better yourself if you hate yourself, right? Like, the logic just isn't there. So you need to start to work to like love what you see in the mirror, love like how you feel. You need to fuel yourself to feel better. And so I think complacency is really, really toxic. I think people get really, really comfortable with like, okay, that girl's like a lot heavier and she's, like living her best life. But like what people don't know is maybe, yeah, she's like heavier, but she's at the gym and she's not posting that. And she's trying to like show body positivity and self-love and all that stuff. So like there's behind the scene things that like a lot of these like heavier individuals who preach these type of things don't show. And like I think the other side of the spectrum, which is really toxic, is like, please don't come at me. It's Tess. Like, do you guys know who Tess Holiday is?
Yes.
Okay.
You
do?
Heard of her.
Okay, you should look her up after. But she's like, I'm pretty sure she's like 5 foot tall and like probably pushing 400 pounds. So she's like a pretty big girl. Okay. She's a model. She's fucking gorgeous. Like, she is so pretty. Are you searching her up right now? Okay. She's so pretty. And like, I'm not saying, and that's what I'm saying. I'm saying she's pretty how she is now, but like she has like this fuck your beauty standards type of thing that she promotes. So it's basically where what's happening is like, she's saying like, I can be 400 pounds. I don't need to work out. I can eat this cake and like, you guys can do it too. And that's okay. And I think like, that's not healthy. I think like at a point our body can't take shit anymore. I would be kidding myself if I said I was healthy at 240. I can be in love with myself and like want to become better and like want more change, but I can't say like you're healthy at this weight. Like I'd be stupid if I said I was healthy back then. I'm healthy now because like I weigh 195. So like I'm heavier than like what the normal chick is, but I carry a lot of muscle. I'm confident as fuck. I'm strong as shit. So like there's different things that come into play. And I think, like I said, like the biggest thing is like that can be a downward spiral if people become too complacent where they're at and like they don't want to progress and they don't want to get better. You should fully love yourself when you're 195, you want to be 175, you want to be 150, but you need to like love yourself at every point and you want to become better for yourself in your future, you know? And that's like what I mean is like there is the possibility that what's going on in the world is going to make people totally become okay with obesity and just think it's a normal thing and it's not an issue and it's not going to affect your health. Like when you're carrying fat, extra fat on you, it's not healthy, like at all. Like you don't need to be 5% body fat because that's not healthy either. You just need to be able to be at a healthy weight or a healthy place for yourself. So if that's like carrying more muscle, like you're like 360, you carry a decent amount of muscle. Like you like how I remembered that I listened to things. You like carry a decent amount of muscle. You're not all fat. If you were all fat, that's not healthy, right? And you could own that shit, but you're like, I train like a beast, shit like that. So it's like you still prioritize. I'm pretty sure you eat healthy food too. I'm pretty sure you're not like fucking dunking like chicken nuggets and like McFlurries every night. So like shit like that. Like the thing is too, like if you are heavier and you are healthy in the sense of like you're prioritizing strength training or any type of training and your diet's like fine and you're trying to better yourself, who gives a fuck? It's just like when people get complacent and I'm fine being 300 pounds at 5 foot and not moving, not giving a fuck about what I eat. Like, who cares? Like, that's where I kind of like don't agree with what's going on with like the standards of like beauty right now for men and women. And it's primarily women. Like you go on TikTok and you'll see like fucking TikTok's ridiculous for it. There's so much of that stuff. And it's like, there needs to be like self-love, but also the want to be better. And I think that's like the balance for sure.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's definitely a touchy subject because like depending who it's coming from, you can seem like you're just attacking them. So like if it's a guy, for example, if it's a guy and you look fit and you're talking about it, it's like, oh, you don't know what it's like because you're jacked, you're muscular, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, I can still have an opinion on something and it can be valid regardless of what I look like.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, I think as someone who was like on both sides of the spectrums, like I never in my life would want to go back to where I was, like at all. I never felt good at that point. I still don't even feel great at the weight I'm not at. Like I am trying to cut right now down to like 185. So like I'm not happy where I'm at now, but I'm like trying to like love myself, but I know I can be better and perform better at a different like weight. Right. So I think that's like the biggest thing is like everyone can have their opinion. I think people need to stop getting, because like me talking about it isn't really an issue because I've been on both sides, but one of you guys talk about it and I'm sure people would get riled up, right? Like if you had an opinion because they're like, well, you don't know what it's like to go through that. But then when I talk about it, like it's kind of okay, which isn't also right at all. Like I think it should be, we can all have opinions and we all just need to respect and understand where people are coming from.
Well, I think, yeah, even we were talking about it earlier with you and Jana, but you know, Darrell and I, as younger, you know, kids or pubescents, we were thick. I was always a thick kid, you know. I could show you a picture, but I went back and kids called me a fat fuck in school, and I was like always the chunkier kid. When I go back and look at that picture, I don't even look fat. That was a standard back then. Like I was just a thick kid. Darrell, he's seen the pictures. I'll pop it up right here.
Yeah, you should put it up.
But on the same coin, if I hadn't been picked on, like kids like, oh, your legs are so big, look how fucking big your legs are. I'm like, good, because now they're fucking, I could kick your head off your shoulders and I can squat close to 700 pounds. So I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And that's all natural. And Darrell, he was saying, you know,
had
a set of titties on.
I grew up with man boobs, and I also had an older sister who didn't let me forget that I had man boobs.
And she's like 6'4", right?
Yeah, my sister's 6'4", so she's bigger and just was mean about it when I was growing up. So around the time I was around 13, 12, I just kept gaining weight, and I was 200 pounds in like middle school, and it was not a good 200. So I would wear extra shirts and to cover up my boobs under poking through my shirt. And I remember I was just like, I had to go to a basketball tryout, and we had to go shirts and skins.
Oh, God.
And that's the worst thing you want to hear as a fat guy, because everyone else is cool with it. So I'm like, okay, let me try and hold in my gut for an hour and a half of basketball and play. And then after that, I was like, I'm never going to feel that uncomfortable being shirtless again.
See, and like that's the thing is like everyone has a fucking story. Like you two just explained yours that I'm sure you probably didn't really talk about before. And it's like that's the frustrating thing. Like I don't give a fuck who you are. Like you have a story of like you might have been really, really skinny or like real like bigger and dealt with shit. You got bullied. So it's like for people to say, well, you haven't been there, that's invalid, isn't like a appropriate thing at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to say I'm not pro-bully, but if that hadn't happened to me at a young age, I probably wouldn't have started, lifting weights. I had my first bench press at like 9, and I just started lifting weights. I was watching Hulk Hogan and all the Hulkamaniacs, and I was just fucking ready to, I wanted to be that different person. And it took me on a crazy path in my life. I lived in Japan 11 years. I used to fight professionally, now into powerlifting. So I wouldn't have been that person if I was that cool kid in class. And now Timmy's living in the trailer park in fucking Crossfield, Alberta, and I'm fucking kicking asses and
Look
taking
at you on this podcast about making an OnlyFans account.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, only mans.
Yes.
All right, Kiersten, that was an amazing interview. I want to say your wisdom is much far beyond your age. You're awesome. You're funny. I see nothing but success for your future. How do we get a hold of you if people really want to get a hold of you? Where's the best place?
Honestly, probably my Instagram at @KZ Fitness. That's where you can talk to me, interact with me, do all the fun stuff. All my links are in my bio, so if you want to chat, I'm there.
All righty. That's where they'll find you.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a great day and hope to talk to you soon.
You too. Have a good one.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Special guest, trainer, powerlifter, influencer, strong and beautiful, Kiersten Zimmerman.
Her lifting.
With Jana. Her Lifting Inside Edition.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Her Lifting Inside Edition. This is a new section we're starting because we have our lovely lady of fame from Bulgaria, Jana from Her Lifting. If you remember our podcast we had, that's our most popular podcast to date. We got crazy views on Instagram and YouTube. Drill.
Yeah, it was obviously huge. We got a big response from the female followers, and they've been waiting for someone like you to come on. So it's pretty awesome to have a segment where we can touch base with you.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for inviting me again.
Yeah, how's it going out there in Bulgaria?
It's snowing and the gyms are opening. Our lockdown is over, yes.
That's awesome news. So this section we want to just cover, kind of the inside edition topics going on in women's lifting and highlight some sections of Her Lifting with Jana. And so we just wanted to pick your brain a bit. So why did you, begin this page? Just so people know, we want to clarify some things. Why did you start Her Lifting?
Well, I mostly started because I wanted to give a bigger platform for women who are doing strength sports, because I believe that according to statistics, there is not much of us. And that was the first main reason. I started promoting only powerlifters at the beginning, but then I decided to include more and more, because not only in powerlifting, but in many sports, women are doing great and they do incredible stuff. And I think that most of them are being sexualized, but not all people happen to notice of how incredibly strong and flexible and brave they are. And I really wanted to show this. And the second biggest reason was not second by importance, but equally important was I wanted to show people that muscular women are also sexy and gentle and all this. And so to say, I wanted to reveal this fit shaming that comes towards muscular women.
We train quite a few female lifters and clients and whatnot. And generally, what's the first thing women always say to you when they first start training with you, Darrell?
First thing is always, I don't want to get too big. I don't want to be masculine, or, oh, I want to lift, but I just want to tone. And it's kind of, you're starting off from a bad spot because they immediately think if they pick up a weight, they're going to look like me or Russ. And that's not the case.
Well, there is such thing. I wanted to talk about this, that there is such thing as a fit shaming. Like fit women are being shamed for being too muscular or for having a six-pack. You can read in the comments like there is woman with six-pack and, oh no, six-pack is too much for me. I don't like women with six-packs. Well, dude, nobody asked you. Women with six-packs don't like you back.
Yeah, I've had women that I've trained that have crazy requests, such as, I want to work on my legs and get my booty and my legs nice, but I don't want any arms. Yeah. So they're basically walking around like, some weird giant legged, skinny armed woman. I'm like, you want to have balance, and being strong isn't a bad thing. And I think the only reason why they feel that way is because society has created this whole image of who you should be as a woman and what you should be. But if you look about 20 years ago in fashion or whatever, and what fashion was dictating how women should look, they look like they were, crackheads, skinny women, no muscle.
Yeah.
They all look like they're on heroin, and that was what was sexy. So I guess that's what they wanted people to believe was real, as what a woman should look like. And then you fast forward to today, I think now people are warming up to the idea that, being in shape, having muscle, and looking good, looking healthy, and being able to be athletic and play sports is definitely something that's more relevant today, which is a good sign. But still, as you know, there's people that, fit shame people just as much as people get fat shame. There's fit shaming. There's all
fit shaming that does exist. I think that people should be aware of that, and everybody is equal. Like women are extremely strong. They can be extremely strong if they want to, and we do have a lot more endurance than you guys, and that's proven. But fit shaming is the main reason why younger women or women who actually need to train avoid weightlifting, because they are afraid that if they start doing this, they're go under the category of like, you look like a man, girl.
Yeah, I think there's a huge double standard within the body positivity movement, because you're supposed to respect someone's choice and let them feel beautiful, whatever size, shape they are. But at the same time, that only applies to if you're heavier. But if how you feel comfortable is to be muscular and more lean and fit, that's your choice. So you should also be supporting women that way. And it's a lot of, as you probably see, a lot of guys who always like to interject and say, that girl's too masculine. For me, it's like, no one gives a damn what you think. It's her choice. She can do whatever she wants with her body, but you should just support her. No one cares if you like it. It's their body.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you for saying that. Actually, people need to understand that if you want to look like a certain body type, and you are gonna achieve it if you work for it. If you're not gonna look like a bodybuilder champion if you go in the gym. This needs to be your purpose. This needs to be your target. You need to work towards this. Takes a lot of time and takes a lot of work. And it doesn't happen by squatting 40 kilograms. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. I'll often say to my female clients, or when they first start off with me, they go, well, yeah, I don't want to get too big. I know I know I don't want to look like a guy. I'm like, well, do you have a set of balls between your legs? And they'll say, usually no. And
Usually.
you don't, if you don't have the testosterone that men have, you're never going to be the size of a man. And I know guys that are, been practicing and training for years that can't even look, the way that they want. It's not that easy. It's not going to come that easy. But what you will be is the best version of yourself. And that's all you can do, right? I mean,
yeah. And I want to ask all the women that follow you and follow me to write in the comments their experience with body shaming and fit shaming, because I had a few. I had one like a few days ago. I met this friend of mine. He's actually a power lifter, but I'm here from the Balkans. Here on the Balkans, we are still like 5 years behind from the world trend. Like skinny is the best look you can have here. And he told me like, you have beautiful legs, but your calves are too big. I told him like, dude, first of all, I don't work out calves. They grow naturally because it's pretty impossible.
I know. Darrell cool cues for calves. And I'm body shaming him.
It's pretty impossible to grow calves, as you know. It's pretty hard. So I naturally have them, and they grow because I squat. And there is nothing I can do about it. I want to squat. I don't care how my calves look like, actually. And I've been really proud of my development of my legs, but this is what happened.
Well, it's awesome talking to you, getting to know you over the last few months, and then really excited about this new section. So another cool thing about it is going to be, this page has roughly 40,000 followers. And what most people don't realize is it's not easy.
We also, sorry to interrupt you, but you also have 70,000 on Facebook. So,
oh, wow, 70,000 Facebook, 40,000 Instagram,
yeah.
And you're often reposted on Powerlifting Motivation, who we're all connected with. And it's just there. People don't realize the hard work that you have to put in to post, 3 or 4 posts a day, whatever you do. But not only that, sometimes when things go viral or you trigger someone, people can go off on you in the comments and they're DMing you and they're writing all kinds of nasty stuff. So maybe we'll talk more about that and how, getting these keyboard warriors after you. And that happens to us as well, but not to the extent that you have. So good to highlight that kind of thing, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't have the time to read what happens on Facebook, but I have thousands of messages on Facebook. I read those on Instagram, and I've been called stupid. I don't know how many times. I don't even count it, for different reasons. People just come and they're like, "You're stupid." And I'm like, "Okay, fine, I'm stupid." What I want to tell people, like, I actually have plenty of positive feedbacks that drives me to do this more and more and more. And I want to thank the people who take the time to tell me like, you're doing a great job. I love your page. So yeah, guys, we love when people do that. You should do that. If you like it, say it. People appreciate compliments always. And what I wanted to tell people, when I post someone, I tag the person, and they start commenting. But I notice people talk like they don't talk for a real person. Guys, the people I post are tagged in the post, and they probably read the comments. And you need to realize that when you talk online, you talk to real people and they read it. It's like you open your DM and you say like, "You're stupid. You're saying this to me." And if it's not to me, it's to someone else. Like, you should really be careful with your words. You just cannot throw random insults. There is someone on the other line reading this and probably getting upset. So
yeah, exactly. So yeah, we just wanted to show a more human side to what it's like running a page like Her Lifting. And people don't realize it, but you're the one behind it. You're the one answering everybody's messages, and you get back to a lot of people. And the biggest thing is you want to encourage positivity within, women in the lifting and the gym scene. So the more anybody reaches out to you and drops you positive things and love, the better. And Darrell and I are here to support you guys with 2 guys, 1 bench, and 1 pretty girl, I guess. So looking forward to just keeping this going and hearing, all your stories, over the next, few months to the next year, how long we're going to do this for.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me, guys. It was a pleasure talking to you again, and I hope I'll meet you again next week.
Definitely. Have a great day and take care, Jana.
Thank you. Bye.
Her lifting.
With Jana. Her lifting inside edition. Combat sports.
All right, everybody, welcome to Combat Sports. Well, we had some gigantic card on the weekend. Of course, everybody was tuning in to watch Conor Mcgregor fight. Darrell?
It was a great card overall, like top to bottom. I didn't watch all the prelims, but I did watch the main card, and every fight was entertaining. There was never any lay and pray bullshit. Everybody was just banging for the full allotted time. The women's fight was amazing, but the one that really stood out to me was Chandler and Hooker. Just for the reason it was Chandler. There's a lot of hate coming from another federation, and everybody wants to talk down on his accomplishments, but people forget this was one of the best guys in the world for quite a long time, and if it wasn't for taking nerve damage in a calf, he'd still be a champ. He fucking impressed the shit out of me. He came in there against a much taller fighter and beat Hooker's ass. For taking nerve damage in a calf, he'd still be a champ. He fucking impressed the shit out of me. He came in there against a much taller fighter and beat Hooker's ass.
I mean, yeah, he came in there like a pimp beating down Hooker. And that was amazing how he was setting up, that body shot, going for that right, getting him worried about that body, and then coming over with that left hook. Ba-boom! I called it. I've been watching this guy for years. He's a savage. He's beat the best of the best. He's just been in Bellator, and they paid him well. But now he just wants to test himself amongst, the best in the world, apparently. And I think he has a good chance to win that gold strap. I don't see Poirier being able to handle that power either. And I want to say he's more technical and less punchy than Justin Gaethje. So I think that'll go the same way. So who can beat Chandler? Maybe Khabib if he ever came back, but I think his ship has sailed. So moving on.
The main event was amazing. It wasn't as advertised because I think everybody, for the most part, except for Russ, predicted Conor McGregor to win. And start of the first round, it kind of was what we were expecting to see. Conor kind of doing whatever he wanted, but Dustin was laying into those calf kicks, and it paid dividends in that second round. Russ?
Yeah, I mean, once you people don't realize how crazy those calf kicks are, or even low kicks for that matter. But you can basically get, a temporary compartment syndrome where your leg just swells up and pinches the nerve, and then you can't use it. Same thing with the low kick. You can do so much damage. So Conor wasn't ready for those, and I think that was the deciding point. When you realize you can't put weight on your leg anymore and you can't defend, he just kind of gave up. Second round, the first round he looked awesome. I thought there was some points where he would actually win, and I was like, shit, I'm going to lose this bet I just put on Poirier. But it ended quicker than I thought. Second round, I was predicting a little later, just because Conor tends to fade pretty early, but even earlier this time in the second round. So I don't want to take anything from Poirier's performance. That was amazing. He did what he had to do. Came out a little shy, but got the W, and now it's on to maybe getting that strap. We'll talk about Conor in the next segment. Boom!
For fuck's sake, your time has come. Hang 'em up. Please retire.
So we haven't done one of these in a while. Now it's time for Hang 'em Up. And what we want to talk about is Conor McGregor after that last fight. I realize he's still a young guy. He's only 32, I believe, maybe 33. and he has a lot of time ahead of him. But at the same time, he's done everything he needs to do. He's made his millions. He's worth hundreds of millions, but it doesn't seem like the same fire is there. And for him to lose to a fighter that I think most of us see is well below him, I think it's probably time that he calls it a day, or else he's just going to get his ass beat on more occasions.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say he's miles above Poirier. What I'm going to say is Poirier's put in his time. He hasn't taken the foot off the gas this entire time. He's been fighting the top, top 5 guys the last 6-7 fights. So, I mean, the reason why I was able to predict that is you just can't take that amount of time off and come back and be at the same level. And I hate to say it, but when you got fucking 100 million plus in your bank account and you're out there slapping grandpas and grabbing asses in public and not really giving a fuck about, really fighting. And then you create a camp where you're in Portugal and then you go to Dubai and then you're hanging out with all these people and you're driving around your Bentleys. I'm like, come on, that's not, what I want to say is you've done everything you have. We don't need you to prove anymore. You were a double belt holder. It was amazing, but seeing you laying on the canvas there, laying beside Bernie Sanders is not what we want to have. And we're sad to see it, but just hang them up. You've done enough. Go into acting. We need some martial arts movies out there with someone with the attitude and charisma you have. So time to hang them up, Connor, because not even Jake Paul is willing to pay you 10 grand anymore. And that's fucking not so good. Boom.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the interviews we had for you today. Join us next week when we're going to have another interview possibly, but we're going to be talking shit.
Oh, hell yeah. And we're grateful to have some female guests on. It's been amazing. Often our podcast is a sausage festival. And, the last thing we want is just a bunch of dudes in their basements in their underwear, tapping their keyboards, hating on us. We want to have an awesome fan base, so check it out. And don't forget to eat big,
train hard,
and always be fight ready.
2 guys, 1 bench. Resolute. Prepare yourself for battle. Choices and consequences. Misfit. Powerlifting motivation.